So in the last class we have discussed about echo command. So how do we print with echo command and what are the options available with echo command. So we have seen -e option and -n option. Under -e we talked about the escape sequences, which are /n, which is for new line, /t, which is for new tab, and /e to get a new color, enable the new color. And after that we talked about, so we use -e option in order to get these particular escape sequences enabled. Whereas you have -n option. What is the purpose of -n option is, if you give echo high, it prints on the output screen, but it ends with a new line. Okay, so most of the Linux, almost all the commands of Linux and Unix commands ends with a new line. So ls you take, so it listed the list of files, but it ends with automatically the new line. So that is how Linux and Unix commands works. Especially with echo command, if you would like to disable that particular feature, so you go with echo -n. So it disables the trailing of new line. Okay, so by default it trails, means ends with new line, so it disables that particular one. So where do we use these things? We'll talk about in the coming classes. And also, okay, this is very important. This particular new line thing is where ends, I mean, all the commands ending with or trailing with new line is very it's a very usual issue when you go with Perl and Python scripting. So Perl and Python scripting, so it usually won't expect a new line ending. Okay, so it always takes at a new line. So whenever you go with those kind of scripting languages, you always need to take care of removing the new line, trailing line at least. Okay, so always you take the, see, obviously you go with Python and Perl script also. Sometimes you need to call the shell Linux commands only, shell commands. Okay, so while you access shell command, those ends with new line. So it's always your responsibility to, okay, cut off that particular new line. Okay, now and after that we talked about redirectors. So what are the redirectors we have is, we have standard input and standard output. So what is the standard input to the system is a keyboard. What is the standard output from the system is a terminal. Okay, so a monitor, in that particular terminal we usually call it as, or console, we can call it as console. Now if you would like to change the behavior of both the things, so instead of taking the input from keyboard, if you would like to take it from a file, then we go with the standard input redirector, and the symbol is, okay, so this particular one, less than symbol. And also if you would like to redirect the output to a file, so we go with this particular symbol, greater than symbol. So we have these two things. And while taking, so we have seen an example of taking the input through mail command. If I'm not wrong, we use mail command. Yeah, so we have just written 2 mails and we have seen, okay, so how those emails were sent, so using mail command. So even if you want to know the commands, so you can just go with history command. I'll provide you the access to these particular servers, so you can just go with history command and you will see, so the commands whatever we have used. Okay, that's fine. And after that, coming to the standard output, okay, so to redirect the output, so we usually redirect file and out file. So what is happening here is, it is creating a file. Let me remove a file out. Okay, so ls, you don't see a file out. Now if you give ls and redirect out, so what is going to happen? So it creates a file first, and then it redirects the output. So you can clearly see that in out. So before creating the out file, what is the list of files? So these are the files. So we are expected to get only the files in that particular out file, but out file is also created, and then the output went to that particular out file. So that particular redirect symbol, if the file doesn't exist, it creates that file. If the file already exists, so I'll do one thing. So ls of /boot, and I'm redirecting to out file. So now you see cat out file. Okay, you can see the list of files in the boot directory, but what happened to the previous list of files which were there in that particular file? So this redirector symbol will override the content of that particular file. Overwrite the content of that particular file. Now if you would like to not to overwrite, if you would like to add the content, so what we usually do is we will use a double redirect symbol. So what double redirect symbol tells you is, instead of overwriting the content, it will append the content, it will append the output to the file. So now if you see cat out, so the ls of boot file, list of boot files are there, and our new content has been added to the end of the file. Okay, so to add the content we go with double redirector symbol. To override the content we'll go with a single redirector symbol. Sometimes you will get a situation that you need the output to be printed on the screen, as well as you need to have it in a different file. You got my point, right? So previously you're giving ls, you're getting the output. So if you are giving ls redirect out, you're redirecting the output where you are unable to see the output on the screen. I need both the things, means I need output on the screen, whereas I want to put it in a different file for my future references. So how do I do that basically? Okay, so ls, okay, you no need to redirect anything here, so you have to use a pipe character. So we'll talk about pipes. Okay, so but as of now, so you have a third-party command, or it's a simple shell command only. So you can go with tee, and the file name is out. So whereas you can see the output on the output screen, and also you can see the output on this particular file. So let me remove the out file and let me try it again. So you see ls command I'm entering, and I'm using t out. So ls is listing the files, and if you see cat out, so you have that particular content on the file. Whereas with t command, if you would like to append, so what you can do is you can go with -a option. Okay, so now if you give cat out, you can see double entries. So these entries were our previous entries, and these entries were the new entries. Now, so I hope I'm clear. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. That's fine. I'll respond you. So I'm just going with the other one. So in the standard output, so other day we were talking about redirecting the error. So what we have seen, ls is and redirect the out file. So your output is not redirecting the out file, whereas it is still printing on the output screen. But do we, okay, so we usually think it as an output, but it's not an output, it's an error. So the output consists of two things. One is standard input, one is standard output, and the other one is standard error. So with whatever the output you are redirecting previously, so that was the output from ls command. So if there is any error, so let's say slash, which is not a directory exists, so if you give cat out, so ls command is not now redirecting the output, it is throwing the error. It's throwing the error. So usually whenever you execute any command, so you'll see outputs and as well as error. So if you would like to handle both the things, what we'll do is, see the outputs can be redirected. So I'll use like this, ls-l. So here you are getting both the output as well as error. Okay, so you are getting output as this one and error as this one. ls command is doing both. Now in this situation, I want to redirect the output to out file. So if you use out, so if you see cat out, you can see output has been redirected to out file. Whereas if you take cat error is not done. Okay, so if you would like to redirect only errors, okay, so what you can do is that 2. If you put 1 or you don't put 1, it is output. If you would like to redirect errors, so you have to use 2, okay, and err file. So now you see cat out, so you can see output, and cat err, so you can see error message. Okay, so to clear confusion, I'll do one thing. I'll just remove rm -f and output. Now I don't have any files with me. Okay, so I'll just create the, okay. So if you see cat out, you have output, cat error, you have errors. So sometimes, okay, so you would be getting more scenarios that I don't want output and error to be two different files, whereas what I want to do is I want to redirect both the things to a single file. So in that case, what you can do is you can simply put ampersand and redirect. So what that syntax tells you is if any output comes, whether it is 1 or whether it is 2, it should go to the same out file. Now you see cat out, you can see both the output and error on a same file. And also some people uses a different kind of syntax like this. So you may usually see whenever you don't get confused. So and 1, okay, and 1. So here also the same thing happens. It redirects both the output and error. See what you are doing here. So till here you are clear. It's okay. To redirect symbol you are pretty much clear because that is an error. And what is this and 1? 1 also we know. What is 1? Output. And what and 1 is doing, it is telling to append to 1. Okay, so if any error coming over there, append to 1. What is the 1 file? Out file. It redirects over there. That's all. Okay. So that is about redirectors. And in some situations, okay, I'm least bothered about the output. Yeah, Dhiras.
Raghu, can you please explain once again that 2 ampersand greater than 1? So it's not clear to me.
See, here till here you might be clear. Okay, so this part.
Yes, 2 means error, 1 means correct input, yeah.
So this you are clear. Now I want both the output and error on the same file, right? So what I should do, I want to put the same file. So you can put like this. Basically, that makes sense, right? So output also same file, error also same file. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it will not work. Why? Because you are using, okay, so a override symbol. So it is not going to work as expected. So if you see cat out, you will not have the proper output. See, you can see only something is missing actually. Okay, that is not the proper syntax. At least if you understand that particular part, to redirect means that is the error is going to that particular file. Now, so the error I want to put it into the same file. So what is this file? This is 1 actually. If you specify 1 and you don't specify 1, that is 1. And to redirect also I want to put it in 1. And so how you are going to tell to the shell that put it in 1 is nothing but and 1. And 1 means append to 1. So now you see cat out.
Okay, that means even error and input both will go in one file.
Yes,
out file.
Exactly. See, instead of confusing
so
like
always
instead of confusing like you can always go with like this. It's very simple. Okay, so it also does the same.
Okay, both are doing the same thing. Okay.
Yes, both are doing the same.
Clear. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So some people uses that one, some people uses this one, some people even, okay, so they'll put like this. So 2 redirect to error and 1 redirect to where? 2. That also makes sense. So the output also you want to put it in an error file. So previously you are reversing, now you are doing in a other way, that's all. Still you have the same file. Anything you can, your approach should be whatever it is, okay, so you can do that. But I suggest you to practice this one because this is very simple. You don't need to confuse anything. So and redirect means it is going to be either it is 1 or it is going to be 2, 3 or whatever it is. Just go to the out file. Now, so some situations I am least bothered about the output. Okay, so I am least bothered about the output. So in that case, what I'll do is I usually use redirect the output to /dev/null. So /dev/null is a special file in the operating system. What it does is it will take the input whatever it is receiving and it is going to nullify. It is not going to store anywhere. That is the property of the file. Okay, you can call it like a trash or a recycle bin, not recycle bin, trash basically. So once you put it over there, you cannot retrieve it back. Okay, so something like that. So /dev/null. So you don't see any output because the output went to /dev/null. And if you give cat /dev/null, you are not going to have anything. Why? Because that is a special file in the operating system. Okay, so how can you tell that is a special file? So here it is starting with C character. Okay, so if you do ls-l in our directory, you can see all our files starting with hyphen. Okay, in coming classes I'll tell you these things, but okay, so here C, this is a character special file. It's a special file basically in the operating system. So what all the files you see in /dev are almost all special files. Okay, now so I'm going to use that particular file. If I don't want output and error, so I'll use to redirect /dev/null. Okay, if I just want to redirect both the things, I'll just go with ampersand and redirect to /dev/null. That's all. But you need to understand that your ls command is getting executed. So command got executed. You're not at all okay. So eliminating the execution of the command. The command is getting executed, but you're handling the output, and if you don't want output, that's all you're going to put it there. I mean in /dev/null. Now, okay, so I'll just give something like this. So user add, so I'm giving a spelling mistake. User add is going to have a 2 Ds. I'm giving extra 2 Ds. Okay, so let's say, or I'll use proper user add command. I'll give user 1 and I'm giving /dev/null. So I'm redirecting everything to /dev/null. Now, user 1 is created or not. I have to check it. So I'll just go with cat etc password. So I don't see a user 1 here, but I hit a user add command, right? I hit a user add command, but user is not getting created. So what is happening here? Okay, so because I'm adding a user as a normal user, I don't have a permission. I'm using user add command as a normal user. Of course, I'll not have a permission. So, and I'm getting error. I'm redirecting the output to /dev/null. So in my script, I don't want any errors to be printed, but still I want to handle whether the user add command is successful or not. If user add command is successful, then only I'll go with another step. Okay, so how do I check? I don't have an output. I don't have an output. See, one very big disadvantage with shell scripting is if any command fails, it never stops. It goes with the other commands. Let me show you with an example here. Let me put it as test. See, I'm giving user add user 1, and after that I'm giving rm-rf/root. This is also not possible because I'm a root user. Okay, and after that I'm giving echo hello, echo job completed, some message. See, so test, see, first user add command failed, rm-rf failed, but it never stopped actually. See, as user add failed, your script is not coming out. It is going with the next command. As the next command also failed, it's not stopping. It goes to the next command. It goes to the next command, right? So the other day in the first class, I was telling you an example where if you would like to, okay, copy some content to a remote, a new mount point. Okay, so what all the, 1 second, let me tell you like this. Okay, so if I want to copy some content, okay, so to copy the content, I want to use a parted command to create a partition. You can go with fdisk if you are going with manually, but I want to go with parted command because I'm going with scripting. So after that, I want to I need to format it. So how do I create how do I create a file system? MKFS. And after that I need to mount it, and after that I need to copy the content. After that I need to rm command. So assume your parted command failed to create a partition, your MKFS fails. So as parted failed, it is not going to stop. Okay, so it is going to go to the mkfs. Mkfs also fails. It never stops. It goes to the mount command. Mount command also fails. It goes to the cp command. So cp command also okay fails because now new mount point is not created, and rm succeeds and you lost the data. So this is what happening. So this command failed. It is not stopping. It goes to the next command, next command. But if you go with the Python scripting, okay, this is handled. In some case, if your script is failing, it will just stop it over there. It will not allow, it will not continue. Okay, so this is also a very big disadvantage in shell scripting. It never stops. It always continue. Okay, now here your script requirement is you need to add a user, and after that, say if you are seeing it manually, see if you are doing manually user 1, so you can see the permission denied error and you feel okay, so my user add command is failed and you need to do the corrective action. So what needs to be done? You are deciding yourself. The script also, you have to make the script also has to decide itself what needs to be done next. Okay, so how do you decide? How do you decide, or how do you validate? Okay, so even if you see the output, this output doesn't help me. This output doesn't help me to stop my script. Okay, so but you need to stop it over there. Why? Because your command, user add command has been failed. Hope I'm making the point very clear, right? So your user add command, you are executing manually. You are seeing the error. By seeing the error, you feel okay, user is not added, so there is something wrong. So you are a human being. You can decide what to do next. But the script will not decide. Why? Because it doesn't have any logic. This is a simple plain script. So what we need to do, we need to make a logic over there, and we need to ensure if user add command fails, I need to come out, or if user add command fails, if I need to do something, I need to do something. So how do you do those things? Okay, whenever you go with scripting, you need to get all the possible situations and you have to put them together. So then only your script can handle all the situation. Okay, so here in this case, why I'm telling this particular point again and again is this is important whenever you go with scripting. Okay, so the output is least I'm bothered about I'm least bothered about the output. Doesn't matter for me for this particular output. This output doesn't really help me, but there is something else which is going to help you. Okay, what is that? See, even though you're executing a command, you don't see output. How can you validate the command, user add command is successful or not? Okay, so how do you do that? One is by going with exit status. This is very important. Okay, so exit status. What is an exit status? The status of the previous executed command. The status of the previous executed command. Now, how do you check it? Or what is an exit status? So the exit states ranges from 0 to 255. The exit status is nothing but a number. It doesn't give you completed, or doesn't give you failed, or doesn't give you warning. It don't give any words or characters. It gives numbers. Okay, the numbers ranges from 0 to 255. Whereas 0 stands for successful, irrespective of the command. Irrespective of the command, if the exit status is 0, that means successful. Okay, if it is 1 to 255, non-successful or partial successful, whatever it is, depends upon the command. Command to command it is different, but 0 is global. 0 means success, that's all. Now, how do you check this exit status? Okay, how do you check this exit status? By accessing a variable called as question mark. Okay, question mark is a variable which is an exit status variable. In the variables class, you will understand what is a variable and all. Just for here. Okay, now how do you access a variable? Dollar. So how do we access a variables in shell is dollar and the variable name. My variable name is question mark because question mark is a exit status variable. So here, if I want to see the value, I always go with echo command. So echo command is to print. You can use it with any other command, doesn't matter to me. Okay, so for our demonstration purpose, to see the values, I am giving echo dollar question. So if you give echo dollar question mark, it is going to show you the exit status of previous executed command. The exit status of previous executed command. So what you are getting? You are getting a value 126. You are getting a value 126. Or let me give ls command. So ls slash this slash null. I don't get any output. Doesn't matter to me. Now if I give echo dollar question mark, echo dollar question mark, sorry, yeah, and if I give echo dollar question mark, what you are getting? You are getting 0, means my ls command is successful. And let's say if I'm giving, let's say slash something which the directory doesn't exist, and if you see the echo dollar question mark, what is the one it is giving? It is giving 2, means the directory doesn't exist. And let's say if you are giving slash boot, and if you give echo dollar question mark, still you are getting exit status 2. So even though one directory exists, one directory doesn't exist, still it is giving exit status 2. So ls exit status 0 means successful, 2 means the directory doesn't exist or the file doesn't exist. If you are getting no such file or directory, the exit status is going to be 2 now. So those value, if it is 0 means successful, it is global, means successful. If it is 1, 2, 3, 4, the value depends upon the command. So you know ping command basically. So let me go with man space ping. So ping command, what it does, it always checks for the exits. It always checks for the ping of the other server. So you can see here ping command, they have explained the values for exit status. If the ping does not receive any packets at all, then the exit code will be 1. Okay, so means if you are trying a ping command, if you are not getting a single ping also, then your status is going to be 1. If a packet count and deadline are both specified and fewer than count you are receiving, and it also exit status with 1, means you receive some packets and you don't receive some packets, then you are going to get a status is 1. On other error, it is going to exit with code 2. On other error, it is going to exit code with 2. Otherwise, if it is not 1 and 2, otherwise it is going to exit code with 0. Okay, so all the commands, they explain the exit status of themselves. Okay, now you are writing your script, so you also have to use the standard values in order to, okay, so in order to make a better script. Okay, so whenever you write a script, you are not the only one user might be using. Whenever you enter a company, you write a script because the requirement was given to you, and the script might be run by other users also. So you need to ensure that particular script, okay, has to work in all the scenarios, as well as it also should, okay, so it also it also should ensure that it should be run by all the users by giving the standard exit status also, by giving standard exit status and standard messages, okay, all those things.